We are live.
Live as shit.
I read a story last week that a chick went into toxic shock because she left a tampon in for 9 straight days.
Really?
Yes, and a lot of questions popped up in my head. Did she forget? How do you forget that? Wouldn't you notice?
Maybe she just put another one in there on top of the one that was already in there.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
She didn't realize it was in there for so long. Because, yeah. Or maybe it just stopped bleeding, so she was like, meh. She's so tired. Or she was really drunk.
She was drunk when she put her tampon in, but still, she would notice that there was a string hanging out of her, unless she broke the fucking string off.
Or jammed it further up there.
The string didn't properly deploy.
I haven't had McDonald's French fries in a while. They taste like peanuts.
Peanuts?
Yeah, there's a peanut oil quality to the, I don't know.
Maybe they fry them in peanut oil now.
Maybe. And they have mozzarella sticks now, which I gotta try this.
Which they're getting sued over because they don't have any mozzarella in them.
Oh, really?
They're just like, the ones they showed were just like hollow breading tubes.
This is, I guess it's okay. No, it's not very good. I mean, it's fully. Oh, no. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this?
Nope.
Nope. Blah, 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 baby.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, look, see, cheesy. A little cheesy. But look how tiny it is. It's tiny.
Yep.
Tiny. Not digging it.
I had a bloomin' onion for the first time in years recently.
Yeah?
It was delicious, but it made me fart for like 3 straight days.
I'll do that. I got a like Lone Star, right? Lone Star Steakhouse or something. Somebody's got the bloomin' onion. It's like a whole onion, just opened up, deep fried, crazy.
It's delicious, though.
Yep.
Ow!
I mean, that's an appetizer, but that's a meal, too.
It is. But it's never enough, and you always want something else.
What can you do to that? Pour chili all over it? Maybe some cheese and bacon?
Yes.
That would make it a whole meal.
So, it's starting to seem like Man of Steel is doomed to be a terrible theatrical release.
Oh, what you mean? The Batman vs Superman, right?
Yeah. It feels like the studio is going to have interfered a little too much, and the movie's going to be a confusing, stupid fucking mess like Fan Forstick was.
Well, here's the deal. It's the decision to go with an R-rated DVD cut and then a shorter theatrical cut. That's what they're doing. So it's not going to be 3 hours. It's going to be 2.5 hours, and maybe a little confusing because of the edits they made.
Exactly.
But that almost makes it critic-proof. Because if you don't like it, how do you know you don't like it? You need to wait for the DVD and see it in the uncut original version.
No. People aren't going to go for that.
Well,
that's like waiting for the unrated director's cut DVD that always comes out, or at least used to.
Horror movies. Right.
Horror movies are like sex comedy movies where basically they're like, did you like it in the theater? Well, here's the version with more titties.
Oh, yeah, every Jackass movie.
The Jackass movies always come out like, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and that's all just a bunch of shit they had laying around that they didn't put in the actual movie. So there's actually 6 Jackass movies.
I saw the Dukes of Hazzard unrated version, and I cannot tell you what was different.
Boobs.
Were there some boobs? I don't remember seeing any boobs.
Yeah. They go into a college dorm room where there's some topless chicks playing hacky sack.
Oh.
That's it.
Amazing.
I'll be right back. I need to put something in the fridge.
All right.
Oh, cat.
So good? Y'all good now?
Man, it was fucking winter yesterday, and now it's spring.
It's fucking hot. I went out with my jacket and I had to walk a couple blocks. I'm just like, oh, good God. No, it's over.
I just turned my heat off.
Oh yeah, my place is way too hot right now. I'll open up some windows and shit.
But anyway, yeah, Man of Steel might end up being a stupid fucking turd of a movie in theaters.
Well, I just read a thing about a guy who turned down Aquaman because he knew he wouldn't have any control over the project. Unless Zack Snyder does have a bit more control because he's the showrunner or whatever. He's building the world, but everybody else will have to, whatever.
Well, Snyder's the visionary.
Yeah. Well, you know who's the visionary for Marvel? It was John Favreau. Favreau. Yeah. Everything's based on Iron Man. Everything.
Pretty much, yeah. He's not with Marvel anymore, is he?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
Nope. He's had a little trouble with his next project, right? Originally, he was going to work with Disney and make Magical Kingdom, which is going to be like Night at the Museum in Disney World.
Oh God, I don't know. That sounds stupid and cool at the same time.
Well, it could go either way. With Jon
Yeah.
Favreau, I don't know. I would say it would be pretty good because I like him a lot. You ever see Zathura?
I did. I liked Zathura a lot.
That's him too.
Really?
It sounds stupid, like Jumanji in space. That sounds awful, but it turned out great with Jon Favreau at the helm, right?
He got a performance out of Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, and he made Dax Shepard actually seem likable, somewhat. His best performances, he's usually a jerk off, right? Like in Idiocracy and shit. But
Yeah.
he was pretty good. I actually liked him somewhat. I mean, he tried to do that off-putting thing for a while, but then it turned out, wait a minute, you're my little brother, all grown up and stuff, right?
Oh, I forgot about that plot twist.
Yep. Turned out he was being kind of a jerk to him because,
The only plot twist I remember in the movie is the fact that Zathura is a black hole.
Yeah. Oh, or the aliens. Those aliens are pretty cool too.
I don't remember the movie very well. I've only seen it twice, I think. I remember liking it as much as Jumanji, and that's really high praise coming from me because I really, really, really like Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji's a fun movie.
That's my favorite Robin Williams movie.
Mine's The Fisher King. Have you seen The Fisher King? Jeff
Mine
Bridges.
is mine is either Jumanji or 1 Hour Photo.
Oh, 1 Hour Photo's good. That one's real good.
Or actually, okay, movie roles, it's one of those, but he did a role on TV that was fucking fantastic too. He was the bad guy in an episode of Law and Order SVU, and he's one of the very, very, very few bad guys in the history of that show that gets away.
He came back, didn't he? Did he
I don't
reprise his
think
role?
so. I don't think so. I think he got away and got away with it.
Huh.
He was a really creepy dude in that episode. It's a memorable episode.
He's good. He was in Christopher Nolan's Insomnia with Al Pacino. Also, Al Pacino's last good role. God damn it, he sucks now.
Yeah, he does suck. I don't know what happened to him.
And
did he always suck?
Huh?
Did he always suck and we just didn't notice?
Maybe. Because in Godfather, it's what he doesn't do. You know what I mean? He's very stiff. But then in Scarface, he's awful. Okay? He's really, really bad. I don't know.
A lot of people would disagree with you on that, though. A lot of people really like the Tony Montana character. But
I see that everywhere. You know, I see the ghetto posters and T-shirts. Like, yeah.
Here's the question: do they like him, or do they like that character?
They like. Oh, it's the same reason they made a video game out of it. It's fun.
I've heard the video game is actually pretty good.
Well, I mean, it's like Grand Theft Auto. You know?
That video game actually caused a bit of a conflict with another Al Pacino related game. Time for video game history with Archaean. Around the same time on the PS2, Scarface, The World Is Yours, and The Godfather came out, and both of them feature the actor Al Pacino. Now here's the thing. Only the Scarface game had acquired the rights to his image. So, while he looks exactly like he does in the movie in Scarface, in the Godfather game, there is absolutely no footage used from the movie that features him playing Michael Corleone. And the character model doesn't even slightly resist. They literally went out of their way to make sure it didn't look like Al Pacino.
Oh, why?
Yeah. Because they didn't have the rights to his image. Everybody else in the game looks fucking perfect. You don't need to be told it's them. You know it's Tessio, or that's fucking Luca Brasi, or that's Marlon Brando. They all look great, but they didn't have the rights to that.
Didn't they do a sequel to that game? Godfather.
They did, but I've never played the second Godfather game.
I mean, you got to have Al Pacino in it then. I mean, what was he just look like the way he did in the first game? Because he's you, right? You're playing that character?
No, you're playing a crony.
Oh, okay.
You're playing the dude who does the shit that you don't see in the movie. Like, you're the guy who broke into that fucking stable, cut that horse's head off, and hid it in that motherfucker's bed. That was you in this story. You're the guy that goes and beats the shit out of those dudes who beat up that guy's daughter. The old man who's asking for Don Corleone's help.
Yep.
At the very beginning of the movie, you're the ones who go carry out that mission.
Nice.
It's underrated. It's underrated. It really is. It's a pretty good game, especially for a movie tie-in game. Movie tie-in games usually suck balls. This is decent. It's not a perfect game. It leaves you a lot to be desired, but it's worth playing.
Oh, check it out. Because I've heard bad things about other games I was interested in. Like, I heard the Warriors wasn't that great. And
I've played the Warriors too. The Warriors is good-ish. It's just on the edge of bad.
Yeah, on the edge of bad.
On the edge of bad, but that's on the edge of bad. That's not bad. It's got a lot of flaws, but it does follow a lot of shit from the movie. There's a lot of stuff there for the fans of the movie. It's essentially a beat 'em up game. So if you like beat 'em up games, yeah, you'll probably like the Warriors. The graphics aren't great. The level design, huh?
That's what I want. I want a beat 'em up game, basically.
Well, then you'll probably like the Warriors.
A beat 'em up game, but also a running game, because honestly, they do a lot of that in the movie. They're running for most of the movie.
Let me put it this way. I know a lot of people who have gotten that game, and none of them regret it. They put it down after they were done and never picked it back up again, but they don't seem to regret having bought the game. Some games you just put down and you never pick back up again. You there? Teddy. Okay, we have apparently. Oh.
There you go. Hello. I don't know. As far as movie-based video games go, I mean, most of the games I've got on the Sega Genesis are awful. Most of them. Almost all. Almost all.
Batman Forever is one of the worst movie time games I can recall on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and I really, really wanted to like it. In fact, I kind of liked it for a little bit, but then it's like, no. You know, because it is Mortal Kombat meets Batman, and I did the controls, and I'm like, uppercut, and like, sweep the leg, and I'm like, yep, it's Mortal Kombat. You know?
I didn't like it because it was too difficult.
Because it's what? Too difficult?
As a kid, I found that game way too difficult. I could probably beat it now, but at the time, a lot of stuff that's wrong with the game is addressed in the fucking Angry Video Game Nerd video about it. You don't know where you're going. There's fucking shit where you literally can't see where you're supposed to be shooting your grapple hook. You have to figure out how to use the grapple hook.
Well, and I watched that video hoping, because I did a video about it and I got stuck. There was a part I could not get down a hole. Right? And so I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd video, and he shows you how to do it because it's kind of complicated. You got to push select slightly before you push the L button or something, right?
Yeah, see, that's fucking.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to the Sega Genesis. In fact, I looked up walkthroughs and Let's Plays, trying to find somebody who told me how to do it. And one of the Let's Plays had a guy who just says, just viciously mash on the buttons until you go down the hole. And I was like, yeah. I don't want it. No. I literally could not find it. And not only that, but it wasn't in the instruction manual either.
Yeah.
I read the whole fucking manual. Not in the instruction manual. How do you get down the hole? Doesn't say.
I had a strange game on Sega Genesis that was an advertisement for Bubblicious. It was the official Bubblicious bubblegum video game.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It was called Bubba in Sticks, and yes, you do want to see this because this game was fucking fascinating.
Bubba in Sticks? No, I think I heard of that. You ride a little bear or something?
No, well, maybe. I've never beaten the game, but you're a hillbilly.
Right, you're a little kid and you got a bear or something?
No, you got a stick.
Okay.
You're a
Boba,
hillbilly. You're a hillbilly in
you
some
got
overalls and a fucking huh?
you got a stick?
Yeah, listen. You're a fucking hillbilly in blue overalls and a trucker hat with no shoes on and no undershirt, so hillbilly. And you got this sentient alien stick named Styx. And Styx helps you fight all these fucking aliens that have suddenly appeared. Or maybe you're on an alien world, I don't know. But there's a fuck ton of aliens, and every single one of them is unique, and it's fucking surprising how much work went into the game, actually.
Wow. Sounds good. Well, I mean, I want to get a bunch of tie-in games. You know, I got Cheetos, Chester Cheetah Zone game. I got the 7-Up Spot game.
I've had that game before. That game's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good. And there's a McDonald's game.
It's not very good. It's a very mediocre platformer, but it's playable.
Yeah, it's playable. Yeah. It's weird
Bubba's
too.
is like a genuinely good game, though. Like the art style, the artwork in it is impressive. Like it looks like it could have been a Nickelodeon cartoon that they turned into a video game. But as far as I know, there was never a cartoon. I think people say the Genesis had the inferior graphics card to the Super Nintendo, but I remember several Genesis games looking really damn good. That console was capable of rendering some really pretty stuff.
Oh yeah, and the reason they say the graphics is better than the Super Nintendo is because the tricks it could do. You know, for like Mario Kart, it could do that Mode 7 perspective thing.
Well, I think literally the hardware is actually better, but it might be the other way
And
around.
the Genesis could have done that if it was in the cartridge.
I'm gonna look up the actual facts on this.
The Sega Genesis could do scaling and rotation in the same kind of way the Super Nintendo did, but it would have to have the chips in the cartridge. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It could do it, but Super Nintendo had those chips in the Super Nintendo, right? Now, personally, there's fewer colors on the Sega Genesis, right? Yeah, it's like 600 colors, while the Super Nintendo has thousands of colors. But I like the palette on the Sega Genesis better. The reds are brighter, you know. The colors are more vibrant. The Super Nintendo often has kind of dull colors. I mean, the greens and the reds don't pop as much. They're just kind of duller, you know. More colors, but they could even gradations, but it's just kind of dull.
Here we go. Here's the fucking facts, the numbers. Okay, CPU speed. Winner Genesis with 7.67 versus Super NES's 3.58.
Oh, 3.58, right. So that's blast processing. That's the one thing Sega Genesis does better. It's faster.
Okay. CPU
that's blast processing.
16 CPU bits both. 128 KB of RAM on the Genesis, 64 KB of RAM on the SNES. No internal ROM on the SNES. 1 megabyte of it on the Genesis. Same sound bit processor. A synthesizer on the Genesis. Way more sound RAM on the Super Nintendo. More channels.
Yeah, that is right.
Nintendo.
They got Sony chips in there. They got Sony sound chips, while the Sega has Motorola sound chips.
Okay, colors. Colors possible 3,200, 32,768 versus Super Nintendo's 512.
Yep.
So
Sega Genesis has better.
The
It's better
Genesis,
colors.
it looks like
You know what
the
I'm saying?
Genesis is out in almost everything important, though.
Right. Well, I mean, speed. It's got blast processing, baby.
That's true. Here, I do remember some of its games being very pretty despite its apparent graphical limitations.
Right. Right.
And Bubba and Stick, one of them.
Another one's that Batman game, Adventures of Batman and Robin, based on a cartoon show.
I
Great
remember.
graphics.
Yeah.
But it was hard as fucking nails. So hard.
Yeah, all the fucking games like that, where all the games based on TV shows were hard as balls. But they all looked really good, like the Ren and Stimpy's and the All Real Monster and Rocco's Modern Life and fucking all those games, the Tiny Toons. They all looked good, but they were all harder than fucking shit.
Yeah. And the Real Monsters and the Animaniacs both had like, you had all three guys, and each guy did something different. So they were hard in that I got to many parts where, what do? I got to use these guys and fuck. It's hard.
I had a really hard game in that regard called The Lost Vikings on Sega Genesis.
Yes, I got that. It must be played two-player, you know. But even then, it's hard because there's three guys, and you got to be switching between
There's
the
a
two
two-player option?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But then
I
you're
beat
switching.
the game.
Oh, you did? You beat it?
Yeah.
I'm stuck somewhere. I think I'm stuck
The
on a level
ending
where
is-
you got to float on bubbles and stuff.
The ending is a Viking rock concert.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is.
I've always wanted to beat that game because it's so hard. But once you figure out stuff, you're like, ooh, you know.
It feels so good when you figure out a puzzle in that game.
Oh yeah. But with two players, the way it works is weird. Okay. Because I could select a guy, or the two player could select a guy that's off screen, and you're like, what? Right? Because for some reason the game would pick one guy to be on screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, we would attack a level, and then I'd be like, okay, I have to die, because if I die, then the camera will follow you, right? Like,
Yeah.
why is this? Then you have to start over, and it's weird. But one player, doable. Two players, it starts to get complicated. Coordinating your efforts is, you know what I mean?
Some games just don't work so well two-player. Like, people say Battletoads is supposed to be played two-player. I disagree. I think that game is designed to make you hate your friend and wish death upon them.
Yes, because there's a couple parts of the beginning of the game where you could hurt each other, and then if one of the guys dies, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's the stupidest fucking game mechanic I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't think Battletoads is that great. I really don't. I saw the Bootsy video where he went through the whole thing, and I'm like, wow, that looks awful. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't really.
He's like, once you get past the jet ski level, it gets harder. Like, what? Fuck that. Fuck it.
I had an obscure fucking game for NES called Low G Man that nobody remembers.
Low G Man?
Yeah.
Unlike the something?
Yeah, on the original Nintendo. It was a dude who could jump really high. And he had a gun, but his gun didn't kill enemies, it froze them in place. And to kill them, you had to land on them when they're frozen in place and fucking shove a spear through their head.
That sounds familiar because you float around, right?
No, you jump a lot. He get power-ups to make him jump like fucking 500 feet in the air and fall all the way back down. And You get all kinds of weapons and shit. Never beat it.
Nintendo Yeah. So many unbeaten games on Nintendo. I think most of the games I have on Nintendo I have not beaten. You know?
Yep, same here. I never beat the Lone Ranger RPG game.
I don't think I've ever beaten the original Super Mario.
I have not beaten the original Super Mario.
I beat 2 and 3, but not 1, I don't think.
Beat 3, didn't beat 2. Never liked 2.
2's not all that hard. I remember beating the bad guy at the end of the game like, oh, is that it? Because he throws vegetables at you, and then you catch him and throw them at him, and it's really not that hard.
I just didn't like the game. I didn't like the way it played, how it looked. I didn't even like the music.
Well, I saw a video about how that game is not a Super Mario game. It was based on another game.
It is a reskin of another game because the real Mario 2 was considered too difficult to release over here. So it was released later on when they released Super Mario Brothers All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, which came with a game called Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. That was actually the real Super Mario Brothers 2.
Right. And the only Super Mario Brothers 2 that exists in Japan is on the disc system, not a cartridge.
Yep.
So I don't even know. Apparently,
I just heard thunder. God.
Oh, wow. It's probably going to storm. That's why it's getting warm.
Yeah, and that sucks because we're all like wondering here, is it going to be a good spring or is it going to be one of those apocalypse springs?
Like a flood spring? Who knows?
Yeah, I live like right smack dab where all that major flooding was happening in '08. I live on the side where the water didn't hit, though. But still, it's incredibly damaging to everything around here. Huge fucking sections of road will just get ripped up and wash off.
Well, I got flooding a couple months ago? Right when this winter was starting, sort of. A lot of fucking flooding. It was retarded. Like,
yeah, I will never. If I ever have a basement, I will never keep anything important in that basement.
Yeah, not in a flood area. It's crazy.
Let's see, what have I not beaten? I've never beat Gargoyles Quest 2 on Nintendo. That's another really good game. That game, you play one of those red devil motherfuckers from Ghosts and Goblins.
Yep. And he's pretty cool. There's also Gargoyles Quest on the Game Boy. I got that one. I don't have the Nintendo one. The price is shot up on all those.
That's the first one. The first one was on Game Boy. The second one was on Nintendo. Third one was on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Demon's Crest, right?
Yeah.
And that one.
Demon's Quest.
Right, yeah. It's going for like $300 now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would love to have that game, but I can't. It's way too expensive. It's ridiculous. Nope, never gonna have it.
That game is kind of hardcore. Like, you're in hell in that game.
Mm-hmm. You're a demon.
You're in you're in hell. The fucking seas are made of flames, and the fucking forests are all dead, and there's ghosts and demons and shit everywhere.
He's kind of the same character, though. Isn't he Firebrand in all those games? That's his name?
Yes, his name's Firebrand, yeah.
Yeah, and in the Super Nintendo version, you can become like a green one that smashes through walls and stuff.
I'm not sure about that one.
It's been a while since I played it. But I like the way the game starts. Right off the bat, you fight a giant dragon. Right away, it's like, oh, cool, and then you kill it, and you're like, yeah, and then the game starts. I like the game to start like that's a cool way to start a game, you know.
That's why I liked God of War 2. The first thing you do in God of War 2 is fight the Colossus of Rhodes, which is fucking moving now.
I
Yeah.
like that.
In the third one, I think the first thing you do is fight a fucking Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, a Titan, you compared to a Titan in the God of War universe is like a fucking flea on your skin.
Yeah, pretty
They're
much.
big. Two games that took me years and years and years and years to beat were Shadowgate and Deja Vu. They're both the same kind of game from the same company with the same interface.
Yep.
It took me fucking forever to beat Shadowgate because I could not find an item that I knew I needed, and I knew what I needed. I just didn't know where the fuck to find it. Like, I didn't figure it out until I was a teenager because there was one little pixel on the screen in one screen that I should have noticed. That was a handle that lifted up a stone that had a vial of holy water in it.
Nice.
And
I remember Deja Vu was a game I couldn't do dick with. I couldn't do anything with Deja Vu. I couldn't even get past the first screen or so.
I beat Deja Vu finally. That was just a lot of trial and error because there's a lot of ways to lose Deja Vu.
Yeah, and
yeah,
kind of a
Go ahead.
your own adventure. Kind of a choose your own adventure kind of thing.
No, it's a point and click.
Yeah. Well, you remember those choose your own adventure books, right? You're like, if you go this way, turn to page 58. If you go this way, turn to page 52. You know? Hello? I cut out or something. What? Hello? Oh no, what happened? Hello? You froze on me or something. All right, we'll try that. Hey, yo. Hello? Hey, what happened? Did you lose your... Okay. Hello? Hello? What happened?
My internet died. Apparently,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Now we're talking. I can see you.
Say what?
I can see you.
Oh, shit. Okay, anyway. Just walking around here in the dark. How can you see me? That's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, what the hell were we talking about? Unbeatable Nintendo games. Nintendo games that cannot be beaten. You still there? Hello? Did I lose you again? Ooh. Ooh. Good God. What happened? Do. Ooh. Good God. Okay. Ooh. Hello?
Hello. We're gonna have to end the broadcast. It's doing this because it's about to storm.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. We'll pick it up again some other time. We're all losing you, though? You still here? It already cut out, didn't it? All right. I'll talk to you later.